Welcome to module 76. In this exercise, we will go through a few structured questions that are very frequently seen in your Cambridge examination. Ready to also try to solve the questions that I am solving along with this video. So let's begin with our first question. This is the first question. It asks you, in plants, dividing cells can be found in meristematic tissue. Name two parts of the plant where meristematic tissues can be found. 2 marks. So meristematic tissues are those type of tissues which are continuously in a state of division to increase the number of cells because they are found in the growing parts of the plant. And we know that when a plant grows, it has mainly two parts, the root and the shoot. And the root and the shoot tips are the ones which grow very rapidly. So these are the parts who will have the meristematic tissues. So they are called the apical meristem in the shoot and the root tips because they're found in the apex or the tips. And there are lateral meristems also which are found on either sides or surrounding the or in the outer margin of your plant's stems. These are called the lateral meristems. So you don't have to know so much detail about primary and secondary growth, but I thought a diagram would help you visualize where these meristematic tissues of plants exist. So your answers would be root tips and shoot tips of the plants are the regions where meristematic tissues can be found. Let's move on to our next question. There are a number of stages during cell division. The list J to N describes some processes that occur during the divisions of an animal cell. So first thing in focus is this is talking about cell division stages in animal cell. J is the cell surface membrane is constricted. K, nuclear envelope reforms. L, sister chromatids are pulled apart. M, chromosome condenses. N, chromosomes move to the equator. Match each letter J to N with a stage of cell division in the list below. The first one has been completed for you and prophase is given, that is M. So take a moment and look at the statements and think about what should metaphase be. We know that at metaphase, chromosomes start to move towards the equator and align themselves at the metaphasic plate. So that is our statement number N. So letter N for metaphase. Next is anaphase. This is when the sister chromatids get separated and start moving to the opposite poles. And I can see that statement L is stating that. So L is our next statement. Telophase is when you find the chromosomes are relaxing and decondensing to chromatin and nuclear envelope begins to reform. So that is statement K. And finally, cytokinesis is when the cell will furrow and separate the two cytoplasms of the daughter cells because this is an animal cell. So J is our cytokinesis statement. This is the final answer. And if you answer all of these correctly, you get 4 marks. Next question is a cell cycle diagram question. And it's asking if mitosis is a part of the cell cycle. 5.2 shows a diagram of the cell cycle. You can see G1, S, G2 phase and then the M phase or mitotic phase having mitosis and cytokinesis in it. Name one process that occurs during stages G1 and G2. So remember G1 and G2 stands for gap phase 1 and gap phase 2. They are sub phases in interphase, and during these two phases the cell is always preparing. In G1 it is preparing to make sure that the cell has enough equipments ready for S, that is duplication of DNA. In G2 the cell is again preparing to check if it is finally well equipped to enter the division phase. So both of these phases involve growth. So cell growth is the process that occurs during these two stages. No division happens, cell only grows. Next question. Let's look at the next question now. So in this question, we have a snapshot of dividing cells in our microscopic view. Scientists have found the mean length of time spent by onion cells in anaphase of mitosis is 105 minutes. They also found the cell cycle of cells in the onion root shown in figure 1 takes 1080 minutes. 32 whole cells are shown in figure 1. Use this information and figure 1 to calculate the length of the time the cells of this onion root are in anaphase, and then calculate the percentage difference between your answer and the mean length of time found by the scientists. Show your working, 2 marks. So here, first thing is you have to use the information given in the photomicrograph, and you have to use the information given in the question context. So they are saying that scientists, actually these questions are built on real experiments. So scientists have found from onion root tip cells, these are cells of onion root tip in figure 1. They have found that onion root tip cells take about 105 minutes in their anaphase stage. And for them to complete the whole cell cycle, they take about 1080 minutes. Now they also found this thing in the same root tip cells that are shown to you in figure 1 photograph. In figure 1, they could take a screenshot or snapshot of 32 whole cells. So there are 32 cells in this image given to you, and they found the anaphase stage. Now you have to calculate how much time the cell spends in anaphase and compare your answer with the scientist's results and tell what is the percentage difference between your result and the scientist's result. So first thing that I will do over here is I look at the photomicrograph and find out how many cells out of these 32 whole cells have been snapshotted or have been photographed at anaphase stage. Remember, when they took this image, the cells are still going through different stages of cell cycle. So while clicking the image, you actually captured them at a particular stage. So I can see 3 cells who have been snapped at anaphase stage. Okay. Now total, they have mentioned that there are 32 whole cells snapped in this photograph. Out of 32, we found 3 cells at anaphase. So how will you show your working to first calculate your own anaphase time spent by these onion cells? So we found 3 cells at anaphase, total cells are 32. Scientists found that all onion root tip cells take about 105 minutes for their anaphase stage to complete. Now we are going to calculate how much time onion cells spend in anaphase stage based on the figure 1. So that will be 3 by 32, that is total number of cells divided, number of cells at anaphase divided by total cells times how much time they spend, that is about 1080 times in the whole cell cycle. So 3 by 32 into 1080 gives us 101.25 minutes. But what did the scientists get? They got 105 minutes. Now, what is my next step? I have to calculate percentage difference between my answer and the scientist's length of time found. So that means first I'm going to find the difference, and then I'm going to convert that difference into difference percentage. Okay. So 105 minus 101.25 by the original value that was found by the scientist, that is 105 into 100, that will give me 3.75 by 105, and I want to convert that into percent, so whole fraction into 100, that gives me 3.5. This is my percentage difference. So actually my answer, I write this answer in this dash given, and my answer should be in percentage. Okay. So if I calculate this and this correctly, I get 2 marks. Okay. So that's how you calculate an estimate of how much time cell spends at a particular stage based on the data given to you in the question. The next question is also very similar. It says mitosis is a continuous process. When mitosis is viewed under microscope, the observer only gets a snapshot of the process at one moment in time. We just discussed that. In this snapshot, the number of cells at each stage of mitosis is proportional to the time each cell spends undergoing that stage. So at the snapshot, whatever the number of cells you see in different stage, that will actually give you a proportional amount of idea of how much time each cell spends at that particular stage. Table 1 is given, which shows number of cells at each stage of mitosis as well as interphase. Okay, in just one observation. Interphase 890 cells, prophase 73 cells, metaphase 20 cells, anaphase 9 cells, and telophase 8 cells. So looking at this table, I can tell that most number of cells are spending their time at interphase, which means interphase is a very long phase, proportionate. Number of cells proportionate to length of the phase. Whereas telophase is very short as compared to interphase. So less cells are found to be in this stage. Now let's look at bit A question. If one cell completes its cycle in 20 hours, how many minutes were spent in metaphase? You have to show your working. Okay, let's see. One complete cycle takes 20 hours and we have been given total number of cells as 1000. Okay, so time taken for one complete cell cycle, I'll convert it into minutes. That is 1200 minutes. Okay, number of cells observed at metaphase is 20. 20 cells are at metaphase. So total time spent by cells at metaphase only will be number of cells at metaphase divided by total number of cells times whole cell cycle, that is 1200 minutes, and that will give you the answer of 24 minutes. Okay, you can see the calculation. Next, we move to bit B. What percentage of cells would chromosomes have been visible? Now we know that chromatin becomes chromosome at prophase. After that, in prophase, metaphase, telophase or anaphase, all the stages you will see the chromosomes. So first say that in your answer, saying that chromosomes will be visible in prophase to telophase, all the stages. So then calculate how many cells in your table are in these stages. That is 110. And our total number of cells in the snapshot were 1000. So 110 by 1000 into 100 will give you the percentage of cells whose chromosomes are visible. That is 11%. So that's how you calculate. Let's look at our next question. This question is more about the purpose of mitosis and what happens during a cell cycle. What are some proteins that make sure that the cell cycle occurs in a timely manner? So explain the importance of mitosis in multicellular organism. Here, this is a 3-mark question. So 3 different importance points should be given. First, remember in a multicellular organism only, you can say that mitosis will cause growth because cell number will increase. If it is a unicellular organism, never say that mitosis helps in growth, because growth for a unicellular organism means cell size increase. So mitosis doesn't increase the size of the cell, it increases the number of cells. So growth will need mitosis, as in multicellular organisms will need mitosis to grow, because multicellular organisms grow when the number of cells increase. Second, if you need to produce genetically identical daughter cells, that's when mitosis is needed by multicellular organisms. If the multicellular organism has been injured or daily wear and tear has damaged some cells, then new cells have to be formed to replace the dead and damaged cells. For tissue repair or regeneration of tissues, mitosis is needed. Never say repair of cells. Repair of tissue happens. That is, tissue is a group of cells having same function. Among the group of cells, if some cells are damaged, they will be disintegrated or they will break down, and the existing cells will divide and increase in number to fill that space. So tissue will get repaired, but the cell repairing is not increasing the number of cells. So that is not mitosis. So never write that in your answer. R means reject that part. Yes, in case of some multicellular and some unicellular organisms, they asexually reproduce. That is reproduction without any gametes by mitosis. Cloning, when certain cells in your body want to form exact copies. Mostly this is found in your immune system, where some of your lymphocyte or white blood cells have to make exact copies of themselves. That's when they do mitosis. Or in case of certain plants where their non-reproductive parts, that is parts which are not fruit, a stem or leaf, or any part of the branch is dividing and becoming a new plant, that's vegetative propagation. That's when mitosis is required. Next question, a protein, mitosis promoting factor, MPF. This is a protein. This has been identified in cells. This protein is a globular protein made from two polypeptide chains. Place a tick in the box next to the type or types of protein structure that will be shown by MPF. So it's already given that MPF is a globular protein made up of two polypeptide chain. So what all structures of protein level folding will you find in MPF? Definitely you will find its primary structure, because primary structure means it will have all the amino acids in its polypeptide form in a linear chain. Then that primary polypeptide chain will fold and form alpha helix and beta pleated sheets, so it will show secondary. Then the secondary structure will further fold through hydrophobic interactions, hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds in the side chain to form tertiary structure. And since they have already given that this globular protein is having two polypeptide chain, that means it is a quaternary protein. A quaternary protein is any protein which has more than one polypeptide chains interacting. So you have to tick all the boxes. Okay. Lastly, there is a piece of information given, that is MPF. If MPF is found in cell, that means they are working towards prophase to start. So presence of MPF in cell means prophase is about to start in that cell. So continuing with that point, describe the changes that occur during prophase in an animal cell. So here you have to recall your knowledge and understanding on what are the events that happens during prophase in an animal cell. First thing that happens is the chromatin will shorten and thicken and condense to become chromosomes, and the chromosomes start becoming visible under microscope. And in the chromosome, you can see two sister chromatids joined by centromere. You also start to see that centrioles are producing microtubules or assembling of microtubules to form spindle fibers or spindle apparatus. And these centrioles, which are now two in number, begin to move to opposite poles. Nucleolus will start to fade away or disappear, and nuclear envelope also disintegrates. So these are the 4 to 5 key events. This is a 4-mark answer, so make sure you have at least 4 of these points about prophase. Next question is, MPF normally begins to break down and stop functioning during anaphase. So initially in the beginning of the question they told that MPF causes the cell to enter prophase. So it stimulates the cell to enter prophase. Now it is saying that normally by the time the cell reaches anaphase, the MPF in the cell starts to break down. So they start disintegrating. Now question is, suggest what will be the possible consequence of MPF not breaking down. So say suppose a cell has MPF, prophase has started, but the anaphase has also reached, but the MPF is still there, it has not broken down. What will the consequences be of this condition? First thing, the MPF will trigger a new cell cycle. So immediately after anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis happens. If MPF is still there, the job of MPF is to stimulate the cell to start prophase. So immediately after one mitosis phase is over or M phase is over, the cell will start another new cycle of division. That means uncontrolled repetitive cell division will happen. Why? Because after mitosis, the new cells formed should enter interphase. Instead of entering interphase, it will start mitosis again because MPF is stimulating prophase to happen. Now, due to this, you can also extend your answer saying that interphase of the cell cycle will become shorter. So, cell will get less time to prepare itself for division or less time to grow. You can also add a point saying cell entering M phase may not have grown with adequate synthesis of proteins, enzymes. So all the growth related tasks that happen in the interphase, that much time was not there for the cell. Okay, DNA duplications will must have happened in a haste or in a rushed manner. So incorrect DNA copying must have led to mutations in the DNA. So overall, you can summate all these statements by just saying there may be risk of uncontrolled cell division that can lead to tumor formation or cancerous growth. Okay. So this brings us to the end of our worked examples of structured questions. Now in the next assignment, you will practice some structured questions from this unit, applying the same method of approaching the questions as I discussed. Thank you.